Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for another session of Yoga Insights. So this evening's session is going to be hosted by Subhaji and Renukaji, the founders of Being Sattva. Subhaji gave up his executive leadership role to dedicate himself to the task of empowering people with mind skills so they may live and lead with the best in life and work. He is an engineer and business graduate with 3 decades of experience as a senior leader in the world of banking in Asia, but he also has deep experience in meditations of various styles, the ancient wisdom of Asia, and the contemporary sciences of the mind. This integrated knowledge and lived experience is what he brings into all his programs, making them real and relevant. Renuka ji is also an engineer and business graduate, and she conceptualized and created the Being Sattva retreat in Bali. Being Sattva is inspired by the change in her life that living sustainably brought. In addition to running the retreat center, she brings her deep knowledge of Indian fine arts into the various experiences created by Being Sattva. So in today's session, Subhaji and Renukaji will talk about and introduce Seeds of Yoga, a music album based on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. So welcome to Yoga Insights, Subhaji and Renukaji. Thank you so much for joining us this evening at Indica Yoga and all our participants. So I'll hand over the session to you now and I'll see you towards the end. Welcome and thank you so much.
Namaste. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Thank you.
I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah. Namaste. Good evening to you all. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. Two years ago, when the pandemic started, we were wondering how we can contribute to making things a little better, as we have been involved in the field of yoga by running a yoga resort in Bali. We thought we should do something with the Yoga Sutras. Actually, Subha had been working with the Yoga Sutras for the last 10 years, researching the sutras and analyzing their applicability to daily life. And we thought it would be ideal if we could create a music album based on the Yoga Sutras, because Yoga Sutras within themselves hold essential wisdom for us to lead our daily lives. And yoga, as we know it, mainly the asana practice and to an extent pranayama and meditation, is practiced by around 300 million people in this world. But the wisdom of the sutras is known to very few people. So we said music is a universal language. So how about if we set some of the sutras to music and then share it with the world so that people will start humming along, singing along, and then they will be curious to know what is the meaning of what they are humming and singing, and thus the message of the Yoga Sutras will be disseminated amongst the people, the yoga practicing community at large. That was the idea behind creating this album. We created a single in the year 2020 by working cross-border with artists in India. And the single was a big success, which was actually shared by the ICCR in India across 150 of the Indian missions abroad. And we said it would be good to actually create an album. And that is how we happened to create this album called Seeds of Yoga, which has 18 Yoga Sutras out of the 196 sutras in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. And the 18 sort of, it distills the essence, the knowledge that is contained in the Yoga Sutras. And that's how the album came into being. Over to Subhana.
Today's session will be more experiential in the sense that I'm sure many of you have read, maybe heard a lot of commentaries and interpretations of the sutra. Our intention today is to make this experiential in the sense we want you to experience the wisdom through the music. We want you to experience the wisdom through the experience of what we have created for you, which is the video, the audio, and also some practices which will bring to light and throw light on the wisdom. So I'm going to speak less in terms of explaining the sutras and a lot more with respect to the experience. On that note, we thought we'll start today with invoking the master and requesting for his blessings in today's session. I hope the technology works. The beauty of this simple but powerful invocation is that it captures the greatness of the master. And to me, the way I relate to this is there is the body through which we act. There is the speech through which we express ourselves. And there is the mind, which helps us to think. And this great master has a solution for the cleansing of all three of them: the body, the speech, and the mind. So a powerful invocation, it always takes me very deep and, in admiration of the Divine Master, who I believe is now present with us. I will now hand you over back to Renuka to speak about how we have brought this together and the album itself.
So the music and the videos have both been created by people across countries. That is, we worked, while being based in Singapore, we worked with people in India during the pandemic, embodying the spirit of yoga. When we wanted to create this album, we wanted it to be based on Indian classical music and Indian classical ragas, while also being contemporary. So we were looking for a musician who would be able to do that for us. And we zeroed in on this person called Amrit Ramnath, who is a budding young musician from Chennai, who comes from the musical lineage of Bombay Jayashree Ramnath, who is actually a Padma Shri recipient. And she is a very, very famous classical Carnatic musician who has sung in films as well. Amrit, while being trained in classical music, understands the contemporary ethos and blends the classical with the contemporary. He himself has provided the vocals for all of the songs, along with some very famous voices of India we have used, including Shankar Mahadevan, whom we've used for the finale song. Then we have used Bombay Jayashree, who's Amrit's mother. And we have used another famous Carnatic classical singer, Abhishek Raghuram, for one of the other songs, and also a budding young musician from Singapore called Sushma Soma. The album has a total of 6 songs, which begins with the invocation, which you just heard, which is an invocation to Patanjali, which is followed by 5 songs, which delve into the essential sutras from the various chapters. So we will begin by exploring the science of yoga. Yoga is actually a practice, both a tool of practice and a state of being. Then the next 3 songs will go on to explore the various aspects of yoga. And finally, it ends on a very joyous note describing the 8-step path of yoga, or Ashtanga Yoga. And we launched this music album on June 21, which happened to be the International Day of Yoga, in an outdoor venue in Singapore. And it was launched by the High Commission of India, and we're very grateful to them. So it was launched in this outdoor venue called Marina Barrage, and the skies came down. It was pouring rain, but we still continued. There was a yoga practice session followed by the launch of the album. Over to Subhaya.
I just wanted to talk about a little story. We never planned it to be exactly 5 songs. I just took the main commentaries associated with the Yoga Sutras, and I picked from those commentaries the essence, which as I have studied over these years. And to me, what embodied the paths is what I picked, and I'll talk about the paths in a bit. I was just looking on the slide, whether it's the next slide or not. But and that then I brought those songs together, the sutras together. It just so happened that they added up to be 18 sutras. And to me, that magical number of 18, I just felt it was divine guidance through which we picked these sutras, and how we strung them together into these 5 songs. Hopefully it's the first album and we'll bring more. And so it is in that context that I wanted to say that with each song, we communicated the essence of the meaning and also the tone with which it should be presented to the musicians who wrote and sang them. And it was such a joy working with them to create this. So, of course, the first song is Anusanthanam, based on the opening sutra and subsequent sutras, the main ones. And as we all know, it embodies the essence of the whole text and the whole school of philosophy. And I'll talk about that in a bit, but let's listen to the song first. And here we have an audio visual for you, which captures the essence of Bali and the essence of yoga, if you will.
योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः 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 अथ योगानुशासनम् अथ योगानुशासनम् अथ योगानुशासनम् अथ योगानुशासनम् अथ योगानुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः 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 तदा द्रष्टुस्वरूपे अवस्थानं तदा द्रष्टुस्वरूपे अवस्थानं तदा द्रष्टुस्वरूपे अवस्थानं योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः वृत्तिसारूप्यम् इतरत्र वृत्तिसारूप्यम् इतरत्र अनुशासनम् अनुशासनम् अथ योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः
So I want to take a moment to speak about how I connect with the sutra. And if all of you on this call would like to experience this right now and right here, the essence of the yoga school of philosophy, Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha, I experience this in my daily life in the following way. And if any of you is facing a question today, is facing a challenge today, had a difficult conversation today, or thinking about what you should be speaking to someone about tomorrow, or how you should be making a difficult decision tomorrow, you may be inspired by this single sutra. I connect with this sutra through the gunas and how we can shift the gunas from the tamas to the rajas, sattva, and the nirguna. So sometimes I am in a tamasic state and I make a decision or a choice just because somebody else has made that choice. So I don't apply my own cognitive sense to making that choice. I do it because somebody else is doing it, or someone else asked me to do it. Tamas. Sometimes I make the choice in order to be better than someone, in order to achieve something, in order to reach that goal, in order to be successful, to be seen to be successful. Rajas. I want to go get just because. I want to show that I'm a winner. Rajas. And then I reflect on this tamas and rajas and then say, perhaps I should be more intentional about it. I should be working towards creating a positive impact. And there the sattva guna comes, or sometimes the rajas combined with the sattva. But the intention is positive. And through that, I am driven and I act. As yet, the ego is present. The guna is still present. And there is a time where I act on behalf of the universe, where I'm just a channel, I'm just an agent. I am empty. There is no guna in me. Everything just passes through me. The knowledge, the love just passes through me. To me, if I can invoke that into my life in big moments, that is embodying this sutra, embodying the essence of what Patanjali taught us. And this sutra to me is so powerful because I always am admired. Many of you, we have all written some essays, some books. We all also made presentations or made a pitch to someone for something. To capture a whole school of philosophy in 4 words, just look at the master. I just am so amazed by this. Every time I just read this sutra, it just amazes me as to what power is there in a man's mind to be able to capture something. What a master he is, right? So, but then I go back to, yes, the essence is just simply be an agent and the power will flow through you. Perhaps that's what it was. That was the magic that the master produced. The way I have understood the sutras is that the master not only gave the big headline, but also guided 3 big paths. One for the advanced practitioner, Abhyasa Vairagya, one for the intermediate practitioner, Kriya Yoga, and one for everybody else, like me. Perhaps not some of you. I'm sure some of you are on the advanced and intermediate levels. And that's the Ashtanga Yoga practice. But he also gave an alternate method, which was to surrender to the divine. So essentially what we've done is these 3 have been captured in the 3 songs. And then we've captured the surrender to the divine in another song. And then we've captured the essence of the whole text, which is what you just heard Anusanthanam in one song. So that's how we've captured seeds of yoga, which is essentially the work of the master. Before we go to Ishvara Pranidhana, I wanted to say that some of these songs we will be playing in the next session that Sophie has very kindly agreed to organize. So the subsequent session, we will play Ashtanga and we'll possibly play Abhyasa too, right? So today though is going to be on the alternate path, which is surrender to the divine.
The term Ishvara Pranidhana is actually used quite a few times in the Yoga Sutras. It is part of many sutras, and it is one of the niyamas or observances of the Yoga Sutras. It loosely translates as surrender to a supreme being or to a higher self, which in essence actually just means that you are cultivating a very deep and trusting relationship with the universe and making each and every action of ours as an offering to something that is bigger than us. It can be surrendering to a god. It can be surrendering to an idol. It can be surrendering to any Ishta Devata of yours, or it can be surrendering to nature. Nature is all around me. Nature can be my Ishta Devata. Whatever it is, you surrender to a being that is supreme, that is above you. And you believe that, you believe in the underlying idea that something bigger and more profound and pure other than you exists. And that is the concept that Ishvara Pranidhana conveys. In real life, it means that, we open ourselves up to experiences as they unfold, rather than fighting against it or trying too hard. Listen to the song now.
तत्जपस्तदर्थ भावनम् तत्जपस्तदर्थ तत्तदर्थभावनं तच्चपस्तदर्थभावनम् ईश्वर प्रणिधाना ईश्वर प्रणिधाना ईश्वर प्रणिधाना ईश्वरं प्रणिधाना
Just, I know we just missed the last ending of the song. Let me see if I can play that again. But if not,
प्रणिधाना ईश्वर प्रणिधाना ईश्वर प्रणिधाना
let us join me in the practice of experiencing Ishvara Pranidhanatva. The text wonderfully explains who is Ishvara and the person who's all-knowing, who is bereft of karma and klesha, the person who is timeless, the guru of gurus. And then the question is asked, how do you beckon someone who is all of this? And that's why the song embodies the Omkara. So let's just experience that now for a minute in ourselves. So you can join me in your own space, in this practice in your own way. But I would like to invoke the Japa Artha Bhavana, the prescribed way of practicing it as per the sutra, just to experience Ishvara Pranidhana. Ooh. softly. Silently, just staying with the experience of the sound, the bhavana of Omkara. There are moments in our life, there are events in our life, there are situations, there are days where all our abhyasa does not work. We can't invoke the power that we have in us. There are moments in life when we can't find the answers, where we cannot cognitively solve. I am not even able to bring my mind to sattvic state, leave alone taking it to the nirguna state. In those days, in those moments, I just sit and chant Om. And in that moment of silence, which follows the Om, I completely surrender to the divine, seeking to be guided in that moment. To me, that is how I experience Ishvara Pranidhana. And it's such a wonderful sutra to complete our experience of today. As we promised, Renuka and we will bring our glorious Ashtanga song and also the Abhyasa and Kriya songs into the next session that we have. It is so special to bring this to all of you because our intention of Seeds of Yoga is that the song of the master plays in every home, plays in every studio, plays in front of every yoga mat on which his wisdom is being practiced. Perhaps even off the mat, not just in the home, but as people walk to work or people want a moment of wisdom at work. Thank you so much for your presence. Renuka ji and me will be very happy to take your questions and engage with Sophie and yourself.
Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much, Subhaji and Renukaji. That was such a beautiful session. The music was beautiful. It was calming. and your explanation and introduction really added so much substance and gave so much context to that experience. So thank you so much. If any of our participants, thank you. Do any of our participants have any questions? There seem to be some people who were struggling with sound. If that's the case, you can always watch the session again on Indica Yoga's YouTube channel as well as our website, because these sessions are recorded. So you can always go back and watch the session again if you missed something, but there don't seem to be any questions today. Usually we have a lot. Oh, there's one. We did have lots of comments. Yes, Ram Mohanji, please ask.
Before we just hand over to Ram Mohanji, sometimes we do hope that the album touches the heart, and the heart seldom has questions.
Yes, that was very beautifully said. Thank you so much. But Ram Mohanji, if you have something to ask, please type the question. He's not typing anything. Oh, any ongoing practice sessions? Someone's asking.
So I do hold meditations twice a week online, and we do discuss the sutras in that and the wisdom of Patanjali. So there is wisdom and there is the meditation which happens. And we also have ongoing monthly sessions and mini retreats online which happen. Is it okay if I post a link here, Sophie? Or
Sure, please do. Please do.
And we are actually, as we are speaking to you, we are sitting in our retreat center in Bali. What you see behind us is the Yogashala, and there is a retreat which is starting on the 27th of July, which goes on for 5 days. So people can get little modules of it in the online sessions. And if they would like to experience a retreat in its entirety, then there are several retreats that happen in Bali during the course of the year. After the pandemic, we reopened in April this year, and this is the first of our retreat offerings. So they're also available for practice.
it was my intention to offer the Yoga Sutras on the Indica platform. Unfortunately, it didn't happen when it was meant to, but now with the music out, actually the timing may be appropriate to bring it to the platform too.
I think that's a great idea. Definitely. Why not? It's always welcome. Thank you so much. I think Ram Mohanji has asked the question. He wants to know if you can put if we can add the Yoga Sutras to the syllabus of leadership science programs. I guess that's what he's asking.
I think it's a wonderful question, Ram Mohanji. So let me explain to you that there is a program that I run. I just call it Superpower, but it's because it appeals to most people more easily. But actually, it is about connecting with our authentic self and bringing our authentic self into leadership. It's a very powerful question you ask, because it is our belief, Renuka's and my belief, that that is the only future of humanity. No technology, no new economic framework, social construct, whatever else can save us if the humans at the center are not authentic and balanced. So it's a wonderful question you asked, because this is the essence of how we can leave a legacy behind, which is positive and sustainable.
Thank you so much. That was very beautifully answered. And he's saying that there's already a leadership science syllabus in 2 universities. That's fantastic. Then Gudapati ji is saying it was a wonderful session and beautiful music, and is thanking us for this lovely session. And for everyone who's watching, you could also, beingsatva.com.sg is the website where you can access all the information that Subhaji and Renuka ji have shared. So if there's no more questions, we have a few announcements. So our first announcement, of course, is next week's Yoga Insights session, which is going to be, can we have the poster up for next week's Yoga Insights session, is how to use props in yoga. So this is going to be next week between 6 to 7 p.m. So I hope everyone joins us for this, because props are so important in yoga and such a useful tool to enhance our yoga practice. Then another exciting event that's coming up is we're having our first yoga retreat in Goa in August. So Darshana, Experience the Self. It's Indica Yoga in association with Alisha Netalkar. So this is from 28th August to 3rd September. And you can register for this retreat on our website, indicayoga.com. And we also have our Yoga Foundation course, which is another first, which will be held from the 1st to the 10th of August at the Indica Ritambara retreat. So that's another thing you guys could register for also on our website. Thank you so much.
May I just add?
Yes, please do.
Seeds of Yoga album. If you search under album, you'll find it under Spotify. You'll find it on iTunes. You'll find it on JioSaavn. And you'll also find it on YouTube Music, not YouTube, but YouTube Music. So all the songs are available for you to enjoy and share.
Thank you so much. And also we have another beautiful Seeds of Yoga session on the 26th of August. So that's another thing to look forward to. If you all enjoyed this session, please join us again on the 26th of August. Subhaji and Renuka-ji are going to be hosting that as well. So yes, thank you everyone for joining us, and all of our lovely participants for your beautiful comments. I think maybe we have another question. Oh, Anupam ji is saying it was an excellent session today. And also, Anupam ji, please email us at namaste@indica.org.in. That's when I can answer your other question. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Subha ji, Renuka ji, thank you so much for being part of Indica Yoga's Yoga Insights. And I'll see all of you next week. Thank you.
As you listen to the album, perhaps more questions will come to your mind, and you can ask us those questions on 26th of August. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I'm so grateful to you for joining us today.
Thank you, Sophie, for wonderfully hosting us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you to Indica. Thank you.